In one way, it had an ending that came too soon. In another, it is an adventure that I will be on for the rest of my life. An odyssey that was made possible because of Amy. In the years since Amy's death, I have spoken publicly about her quite a bit. I have talked about us together, and even about our family. I have tried to address people's astonishment at how we loved and understood each other so deeply. I have opened up about my personal experience with the issues of being with someone you love at the end of their life, and of loss in general. I have also used the metaphor of the empty space that Amy gave me in her article to talk about resilience in the face of devastating loss. I have discussed the struggles of being single parenting, and doing something meaningful in my professional life, while trying to fulfill her final wishes for me. However, I have not talked much about myself personally until now. What follows in this audiobook is my attempt to share whatever small pieces of wisdom I've gained from an otherwise devastating process. Amy was a lot of things, but perhaps above all else, she was an optimist. Her hunger for life insatiable. Her way of looking at the world was inspiring, even during difficult moments, and she would have delighted in the idea that some part of our story together could help someone else through their own personal darkness. Not all love stories end the way you want them to, but often, that's what makes them worth telling. Part 1. The Nest. Chapter 1. A Love Story. So, darling, be home soon. I couldn't bear to wait an extra minute if you dawdled. My darling, be home soon. It's not just these few hours, but I've been waiting since I toddled, for the great relief of having you to talk to. John Sebastian. I'm a Chicago guy, born and raised. And in order to understand where Amy and I began, it helps to understand where I began. Family has always been the center of who I am. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old. For the next 8 years, until my mom, Jo, remarried, it was just Mom, my older sister Michelle, and me. The way my mom raised me on her own established the core of the man I've become. She struggled and did her best, and she went back to grad school and got her master's degree in social work by the time I was 5. She's still practicing. She was super liberal, always encouraging me to be independent and do my own thing, as long as my own thing wasn't stupid enough to throw my life out of order. I pushed the limits a little every once in a while, but I always respected her too much to make her wonder where I was or what I was doing. My dad, Arnie, was a complicated man. He was definitely around on occasional weekdays and weekend sleepovers, and this was one cool, fun dude in my formative years. He was handsome, with a full head of hair, so no surprise that he always had a girlfriend. He was into sports and music, an idiot savant when it came to jazz. He was a beautiful artist who could draw anything, and an art historian who could spend hours in a museum. Dad was obsessively devoted to his mother, my Grandma Sarah, and he routinely took me and my sister to visit her in Skokie, Illinois, a hub of the Jewish community that settled there after World War II. Her community, just outside of the Chicago city limits, was also the focus of a court battle brought by the National Socialist, Nazi Party of America, to have the right to march in this neighborhood where many Holocaust survivors lived. Grandma Sarah was a widow. She lived in a small apartment filled with furniture that was covered entirely in plastic. God forbid an unsanitary tush should make actual contact with the upholstery. No matter what restaurant we went to, particularly if it had bread service, Grandma Sarah would inevitably walk out with a purse full of freebies. I'm pretty sure I even saw salt and pepper shakers in there a time or two. Sundays at her place were mostly spent watching the Chicago Bears on TV, while my sister entertained herself doing anything else. For most of my childhood, Dad was in the advertising business, which I thought was a very sexy job. He was a highly intelligent man, but unfortunately, he wasn't the best at business. When I was in high school, he opened a commercial film studio in Lincoln Park. It seemed to be